Today's date is December 21st, 2021. Time may be going on pretty much close to, I'm not even sure if it's 1 o'clock. I do this right now. 1 p.m. if I'm sure. Lunchtime, such on. And this is pretty much a copy of two, let me touch down, civil crime report on my house that stays on my record. Notice up top here that I researched through Google. It's saying pretty much Orchid Court record system, record group 21, 1685 to 1993. Overview of record location. Table of content, where it's saying point 21.1 administrative history. This is why I'm saying to you, this is where they stole my house from. That address, as I'm showing you under chapter 13, that I've been preaching back and forth. So I serve it in person that date, which is Friday, December 17th, 2021. See there? I asked them to stamp the front and back, so since I had just to copy mine as a front and back, knowing their pages like this. Let me show you a copy of their page. Pretty much this is how their copy. I tell them give me 2 more copies, so I'll show you. This is how their page look when it's blank and I turn it over. You see the next side. So when I'm copying, I couldn't get a 2-sided copy machine, so I have to copy front and back as a 2-page. So when I give them their original copy as a back and front page, as you can see, I'm trying to block off, sorry. As you can see, I would tell them pretty much to stamp both sides for me, front and back. So this is one set, that's the other set. Let's pull up this now. So I'm keeping this on my record. I'm pretty much publish it on YouTube as evidence package, because this wouldn't be my first one I took to the civilian crime report source. If you guys notice, I made a video with their officer pretty much being foul to me with the police. Don't even want to give his name after he was being foul or trying to disrupt my peace to serve my paper. So I make a video, pretty much throw it on the internet. This is how you guys now see me on the internet. From that day, I got cross ignorance and anger. I said, imagine that. They stole my house. It's not that I don't appeal after appeal. This story goes on and on. It have different part, different episode. It's like a saga. One moment the judge warned the lawyer stop harassing me over my property, and no one give me paperwork to say I won my case with such void sale, void deed cases of harassment that the bankruptcy judge Crane herself, who had my life in the palm of her hand chatting nonsense to me, go back to Judge Cat, who actually did call it up back and want to insult my intelligence, to say I told her a lie. Told you a lie about what? Don't want the trickery on my brains, because however long it takes, as I did tell the Judge Cat and Judge Levy that did unjust enrichment with their bribery, I said themselves and their corrupted way. They're not accepting just a paycheck to steal people's house under void sale, void deed, fraudulent foreclosure, that even the bankruptcy court judged them overlooking and pretty much seem to be involving just as much. The judge didn't do her job in the bankruptcy court. The question to you guys and me, big time, what, she didn't know foreclosure went down an hour later after I mean, the bankruptcy and the foreclosure was on September 22nd, 2000. It's who beat who. I did whip the bank who tried to rob my home equity. I whipped them to say, don't mess with my home equity, knowing I did lead abatement. And as the market value is rising and the Human Rights Commissioner was negotiating with them for a good several months into a year to say, listen, she could have sued her for lead poisoning to her kids. The fact that she did all the work and the market value is rising and soliciting to her for months to refinance her, to pay out her debt to others and herself, is we did all the lead abatement. If I added 20,000 on my corporate account and secure the time, I had just to max out that shit in material to fix the house up. After New York City, New York State, lead-based people came out and penalized us to say, since the house is tested inside out to have lead-based poisoning and it's a 1940-something built house that's giving all three of my kids lead poisoning, that the doctor report to the state for them to come out and stamp it, test it by stamping it inside out and say, if we don't fix it, we will be charged 1,000 monthly and our kids being taken away. And even then we did all the work. Best I did go buy 10 pieces of land and build 10 more house. I max out on my creditors' personal credit card in material also, not just my corporation. We went to Home Depot. Home Depot gave me 3,500 personal credit with my husband, 3,000 personal, another 3,500 personal credit. If we total that together with the Home Depot credit for material also, that's like 7 grand. And if we had was to call in a builder or a contractor, you can imagine. But thank God my husband, he was a builder, I was a subcontractor, so we just did the work ourselves. Monthly, the city with the state would come in to see if we're complying. Because if we wasn't complying, as they said, they would fine us $1,000 monthly and take away our kids. Even though they threatened us 10 times, we've been threatened 10 times over. Cut a long story short. Because in the end, they see us with the judges and their corruption. They know what they're doing. It's capitalism at work. They would still discriminate me under bankruptcy discrimination, as they had a case of harassment in Queen Civil Housing Court. When the judge evict me, Judge Cat evict me, knowing she did dismiss it and warn the lawyer, stop harass me, call it up back around the 5th month to want to evict me. And turn around calling me liar. That a lot don't frig herself, because I'm the type of woman I don't stand and make nobody insult my intelligence easily. So I say, the time I go and sit in your court, since it says your court, and take bullshit from you, let me show you I can go downstairs to room 209, pick up an appeal form, and appeal your ass. Because this you did dismiss it and warn the lawyer, stop harassing me over my property. And when I ask you for it in writing, since I won the case through you, you wouldn't write it. You said, didn't you hear me just warn the lawyer? This judge is hostile. She's mean. This white Jew judge. And then now you have a black ass house slave judge named Judge Levy supersede her, even though I had appeal her. I went 3 appeal in my house, and when Judge Levy, the house slave supersede her and come. I'll find, cut a long story short, I'll find in the record where Robert M. Tully, the lawyer for Plaza Home LLC, in the case of harassment with a fraudulent void sale, void deed before Judge Gatt and Judge Levy. I also find him writing ex parte communication to Judge Levy, the house slave, who didn't have any leniency. As I say, he's a now slave. He's with the slave master who treat black people like slavery with their own black people, as a slave master, house slave with the slave master, have pushed others around. And I find the paperwork showing pretty much Robert Tully writing him, you do not want to elevate her, and said she have an appeal pending. What that for? Only God knows. See? I mean, a piece of paper like that when him writing a judge ex parte communication upon the court paper, with a piece of paper, ex parte communicating with the judge with such word or message on the paper. It's just showing how corrupt these judges is. That means they paying the judge's ass while they telling him that. These judges for real, they don't accept just a paycheck. It's political favoritism. The same lawyers, investors who bought my house on a void sale, void deed with the bankruptcy and foreclosure being fraudulent, is they putting these judges on the bench back. These judges sit on the bench sometimes for year after year, running into 10, 15, 20, 25 years like any king and queen. That's why corruption so frequent in the court. A president don't sit in the White House for no more than 4 to 8 years, depending if he got re-elected. So when a judge has served on the bench for 20, 25 years or more, you can imagine why America or any other court system around the world is so corrupted with these lawyers, investors, much less lawyers, campaigning with judges to put them back on the bench. You think when a lawyer give a judge campaign dollars to put them back on the bench and they go into court with a case against somebody, they not going to shit against that person? There's a lot of bullshit going on in the court. So I don't have to stand for the bullshit or the shit. I did warn them. However, if it takes the next 20 years, 21 years or more, I will be there. Because you're not going to rob me and think I'm going to run as a black woman. See? You mess with the wrong mother skunk, so fucker. I hate that skunk or fucker, but even though I just said that. But these fuckers mess with the wrong motherfuckers. See? These skunk ass judge. And you can imagine Judge Cat telling and writing on the court paper when she was the victim and I went down to appeal her. I am misrepresenting myself and I don't seem to know what I'm saying as she consolidated 2 dates in one. I told her, since I have one set of bankruptcy paper, the first one that void everything with Judge Crane, and Judge Crane and others seem to be, playing trickery with all these robberies as it goes on. As I said, once more, how the bankruptcy court didn't know about that. You see that word, accountabilities? You see that word? And you see when I use section 1301 and section 5010 and section 362, section 362 with 1301 talk about the automatic stay and the most mistake creditors may make to continue foreclosure, eviction, garnishment of property, income, wage, and much, much more, if it goes the same. This is when it was published. You see the foreclosure published in the Daily News? That's a affidavit of the publication, legal note went into the Supreme Court time and time again and so on. I say, I better print this on it to the United States Attorney Office just as much. It's not that I didn't go to the city controller when these two judges was messing themselves. They think they can rob me and my kids, like black people mustn't have nothing for their children. You know what equity in a house do for people? If you want to buy another property, another business or more, or a car or more, or another house or more to put your kids in, that's what most business people do. Use their equity in their home to even buy a mixed-use property or continue business with, or put their kids thoroughly through college, high school or more. So when they robbing me, they think I go and play games with my retirement fund, my kids' life and more, with this type of slavery mentality and capitalism as it is for more than 450 years. Big mistake as I put it there. And then I put further Judge Carla E. Crane, that's her name, you know, CEC stand for Carla E. Crane, the bankruptcy court first judge for my first bankruptcy with the foreclosure. She should know that these willful, reckless violation was taking place more than keep up malice and prejudice for the next 21 to 25 years. And this is something big in the community that most people and the news don't even want to speak out about. You think I go and settle with the masses? Knowing is it crash the market and cause tax and bond fraud and all others over the world, all over the world. Everything in life, as I try to teach you guys, is a domino effect. What affect me can affect anybody financially. Because when people put their money on the stocks and bond with the market, and the bank want to rob everybody or anybody, or if it become a housing crash, a financial crash or any other crash due to bank robbing people in court and more, or on Wall Street or more, or globally and more, you pick sense from nonsense. It's a domino effect. I ain't making nobody steal my, this is our house the time. You see the address? And they call in the dogs ACS. See? My corporation was Ansecure Inc. But I notice up there it says ACS, but I need to maybe put Ansecure Inc. or I mess up there with ACS Inc. But it should have been Ansecure Inc. So you see, we're up with HBB. HBB stands for home-based business. And section 5010, when I went in the district court long later and research with the bankruptcy library and books in the library itself, in the court, it talks about section 5010, the judges them overlooking all these corruption. You can overlook something and don't realize it did far more damages and injure and others too. Anybody rip off my house or more with my equity, I might as well come straight to the government and say, bullshit, that was part of my retirement fund with the type income and wage and others I was earning there. At the time I was turning the ship around when the Human Rights Commissioner says, Sonia, I can't negotiate no more with the bank trying to rob your equity in your home by doing a pre-foreclosure, starting pre-foreclosure to foreclose. I'm gonna just tell you straight out, we file a chapter 13. He should have tell me as a businesswoman, slap them with I left too. But my lawyers them, you see that word that I'm zooming out in? Credit bureaucracy. That's what I'm going through with all these bullshit. And don't tell you now, I must tell you, these shit make us sick. I'm sick and tired of bullshit in the court. People like judges who supposed to serve and protect, robbing us blind, doing their embezzlement with people who committing crime. It's like a syndicate crime or a gangster crime. Like a fighter set a gangster. See? I ain't running. Then I draw this case pan, this index number, as you see. Index number, I think, 14777. And Trustee Michael Micro. You know how dirty that trustee is? A black lawyer actually look for me, lady lawyer, long later when I try pay she to, and she look like she's a bigger thief with all other lawyer just want to come in and grab what they can grab and run. I paid the woman lawyer $500 for the something, and all she eventually take my money and run and did nothing. But she told me straight up, Trustee Michael love black woman. I said, what that have to do with me? Him could have sent me to Arms House, who is a bigger set of thief. He make the wrong mistake when he gonna send me to even another lawyer. With our first meeting, my first bankruptcy ever meeting, my lawyer didn't turn up in court early. When he finally turned up, it's like he don't even want to come in the courtroom with the trustee and me. So the trustee turned and said to me, just in case my lawyer don't have finish up my case, he's giving me a lawyer to go and finish it up. I said, yo, trustee not supposed to even do that. Well, thank God I did say, you know, and I trust in him, but I go and check it out. When I went and check it out, where he sent me to 230 something Hillside Avenue, Jamaica, Queens. Now a damn crooked foreclosure consultant, so I pay over $800 a time, and I have to tell the Human Rights Commissioner, even before I ever file any form of bankruptcy or Chapter 13, I have to tell the Human Rights Commissioner how this consultants took 800 plus of my money, and I tell me burn it down. The house is nothing. If you don't have any problem with it, light it a fire and collect insurance. I said, what? You crazy? Yo, let me go report you to the Human Rights Commissioner. And I didn't joke for go to the Human Rights Commissioner and tell him everything. Where the Human Rights Commissioner, even my demand to say he need to give me back my money. So is there Trustee Michael send me right in the very same office that the Human Rights Commissioner that write the foreclosure consultant, the damn thief, for give me back my money. Or tell me burn down the house. Don't even file no Chapter 13 or nothing. Burn it down. So I said, really, Mr. Isaac, these people terrible. I've just paid this man and I tell him if he go and chat nonsense to me, him need to give me back my money. Him say, nah, give me back my money. So I come to report him. What him tell me I need to be doing. I say, for me kill my kids and other people? I'm not a criminal for you come telling me I need for burn down something. I come to you for ask you how to deal to save my house and more. Even though I consult with the Human Rights Commissioner and you're going to tell me burn it down. Well, it's dear Trustee Michael send me to a lawyer who work in the very same office with a crooked foreclosure consultant. So the day when Trustee Michael sent me there, I went. When I went, you know, the foreclosure consultants see me, I wait for the lawyer. And when I go into the lawyer, I'm coming to and said, don't take our case. I said, what if? I said, yo, let me get the fuck out of here. Eventually the lawyer took his advice and didn't take it. So I said, damn, is this the trustee send me under? For real? All these trustee and judges is fucking crooks working with whole criminal when me I deal with Mr. Isaac Parcel, the Queen's Human Rights Commissioner, to tell this man, give me back my money, and come to find out the trustee send me in the very same office with another crook. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, because thou art with me. I run and I starve. God will comfort me. It's God that take me through the sun with all these evil what these judge did to me. Alright, For example, Judge Cat, when she did evict me, after she dismissed the case, the 4th of the 28th, I think, 2001, she called back the case within a month after she wouldn't give me the win-win paper after she warned Robert Tully, stop harassing me on a case of harassment with a void sale, void deed. She wouldn't give me a win paper knowing that I asked her for a win paper for no I didn't come to sue. Had I come to sue, I want to teach people when anybody call on in a court for evict you, come do anything to you, whether it be house or living in somebody's house.